All right, ladies and gentlemen, gamers of all kinds, even mobile, welcome back to another Patch Notes review, where I, in all my high God and glory, take a look at the patch notes and critique it and yell at Riot because I don't agree with many of their changes. But hopefully one day I am proven wrong and I agree with their changes. Oh my, look at all these new missions. Look at that. I agree with their changes and 80s will get buffed one day, hopefully. So, we're here. I believe this is the patch with the new Volibear. Let me make sure on my Googles that this is the Volibear patch. Yes, it is. Oh, and it's bringing the space skins too. Okay, so we'll get into those. Anyway, let's get into it. I've been busy with Warframe, still busy with Warframe, all day, every day, but League still has a special place in my heart. So, hello, my dear star children. What the fuck is this, a Soraka player? Before we get into it, we want to remind everyone that this patch, this is kind of long, what the fuck? This patch will be going out a day later than usual, okay? Seeing the patch notes were also a day later, but for more information on the patch release schedule, please sure to check out this player support article. Let me check it out. Let me see what this says. What does this say? Patch schedule League of Legends. League of Legends periodically releases patches that include fixes, improvements. Yeah, we know what those are. Patch dates can change at any time for any number of reasons. We recommend checking this page a day or two before a patch to see if it's moved. If a patch is delayed within 48 hours of its scheduled date, we'll put an alert on the top of this page. So we're on 10.11 now, and that's going to come out on Thursday, May 28th, and they've traditionally come out on Wednesdays. Oh yeah, they have. I remember that. So this is the only one that's coming out for Thursday. Every other one is slated to come out Wednesday, and there's one I see all the way in November that's supposed to come out on Tuesday, apparently, which is pretty interesting. Thank you for the host, Charlotte, as always. So, interesting. So I guess it's because of COVID or something. Who knows? Anyway, thank you, Charlotte. I will try. Anyway, let's see. So the storm has landed, aka Volibear is slapping his big fat bear cock all over the rift. And it's unbearable. Oh boy. Our bear is now here in his final form, which could potentially be ass, but we'll talk about that. This patch, we want to make sure we did it right. We spent long, dreary evenings in cold rooms huddled around one single cat. Yeah, okay. Running it down, we've got a couple tweaks here for Fiddlesticks, the underpowered, from Lux, the annoying. And then the real meat is focused on the Marksman class. Oh boy, let's see this, baby. It's clear that Mark's people have been struggling for a while. That's a fucking understatement. That is such an understatement. We've been shitted on. So their squishiness makes it difficult to stay alive in lane. Oh yeah, that's why mages go down there. Especially in the critical early phases of the game. Okay? To remedy this huge problem, we're bringing some more power back with a two-step dance. Holy fuck. Drawing up health stats. Okay. And boosting their late game mobility. Oh my god. Through some items, we've amped up so that players can still go for exciting plays without getting as punished for it. It also doesn't hurt to have more pep in your step. I would agree. With that being said, we want to take a closer look at marksman champions who can solo lane and aren't as dependent as on their supports, aka Lucian, which is pretty true, Vayne, which is, I don't know what the fuck they're smoking, but Vayne is entirely dependent on her support, at least in the early game. Tristana, I guess Tristana can make plays on her own. Callista. Are you stupid, Callista? Okay, half and half. I'll take half and half with Callista. She's somewhat independent, but somewhat not. We want to give them an equal amount of power as their peers while making sure it wasn't skewed towards their solo lanes. So we'll distinguish other treats for these folks and more accurately hit the mark. Oh, maybe they're talking about them going into other lanes besides bot lane. which might be true, but still, these people. Whatever. I'll just keep reading. So, get on the rift where you can use all the knowledge to make your enemies see stars, and you know longer death timers. Nice. Take this portal if you're looking for TFTs. No, we are not. And this is from Hannah Wu and Trisha Tan. A lot of Asians. I like it. Okay, so here are the new skins coming this patch, which is kind of coinciding with the new event that's going on right now, obviously. The what's it called? Fucking Christ, what's the stupid event called? Pulsefire. That's what it's called. We have Astro Poppy, Astro Gnar, and Astro Bard. I think these skins are actually really fucking good for 1350s, especially the Bard one. I think the Bard one is the best of the bunch, the Poppy one's the weakest, and Gnar's kind of in the middle. The Gnar one's nice too. Honestly, I want new skins like this. This is an old skin line too. They need to revisit old skin lines and give it to champs who haven't gotten a good skin in a while. Poppy, you can make the argument. Gnar definitely needed one. And then Bard, of course, needed one. Do I like seeing Bard played? No. But is this a great skin, and did he kind of need it? Yes. I think that's it's pretty good. Pretty good skins. So, the new champion update, Volibear. The battle spirit of the Freljord arrives with more lightning and savage claws in 10.11. Okay, so let's talk about Volibear. I'm assuming people who are watching this, if anyone's watching this at all, is familiar with old Volibear and somewhat familiar with new Volibear. So I'm going to take that information already as being known and then go forward with that. So basically, what do I think? Well, let me start with what my friends think. My friends think he's ass. Was he ass before? Kind of. Is he ass now? Not as much. It's very similar to the Fiddlesticks rework in essence. In essence, did they nail his thematic, his whole lore and everything into his kit? Absolutely. He's a gigantic fucking god bear, like his brother Ornn and his sister Anivia. He's a fucking gigantic elemental deity shit bear. Yes. And he looks amazing. Again, the reworks are never, or the VGUs are never bad. But the gameplay has a lot to be questioned. So, old Volibear, what did you do on him? You basically went in, you flipped someone. The W mattered as an execute, but it didn't really matter to your kit. The ulti was okay. The E was like half decent. Basically, the biggest part about old Volibear was his Q was the flip. That was basically the most important part of his kit. New Volibear lost the flip. But now he has a stun, which is arguably better because you can't stop him unless you kill him. If you hard CC him when he has his Q, it resets. So he could just run your ass down all day and he gains move speed towards you. Do I think it's better than the flip? It's a half-half. You will get it off more often than you might get the flip off because, again, it resets if you're CC'd. And it's a stun, which is, kind of good. But the flip kind of displaced the enemy. But you could also fuck up the flip. You can't really fuck up a stun, you just stun them. It's either you do or you don't. So I would say in essence, overall, it is better. The Q is just straight down, hands down, better. It probably does more damage too. I didn't look at the scalings because I'll get into why I didn't look in the scalings, but we'll get to that. His W. His W is basically... Or let's go to his passive too. I forgot about that. His passive, I think, is generally better, kind of. It gives him attack speed and Chain Lightning at max stacks, but the Chain Lightning kind of has wiener-ass damage, but I guess it's supposed to be a sustained fight, which is kind of where Volibear is going to lead to with this whole kit. Chain PP Lightning damage and attack speed, that kind of doesn't matter, but kind of does. The old passive was just a heal stim, and it let Volibear live, but it had a long-ass cooldown. This one's always going to be up. In terms of usefulness, it's probably more useful, but it's worse off because it won't save him as much as the old one. But then again, you had to wait for the old one to save you every, 2.5 minutes, 3, if not more. So it's like, this is also half-half. It's better in some ways, it's worse in other ways, until we get to the W. The W is a bite that applies on hit. It probably does wiener damage, but the point of the W is not damage. It's to mark someone, and then the mark stays on them long enough for the cooldown of the W to reset. It doesn't reset on its own. It just goes down. And then you W and you get a heal off of it. Now, from what I've seen, the heal is actually pretty half decent. So they took away the heal from his passive. They put it on his W. I'm fucking explaining his whole kit. I just said I'm going in with the expression tension of assuming people know, but now I'm fucking explaining it. Whatever. The heal's better, I think, than the old one because you could just do it more consistently, and it's not popped by accident. It's not in a long ass cooldown. I would say the W is just overall better, and it's still probably kind of like an execute. Well, it's not kind of, it is. So the W, hands down better. The Q, hands down better, kind of. The passive, a little iffy. The E is hands down better. The E is now, the little lightning. The shield he gets is fucking really nice. And then the damage it does is max health, so he's great against tanks, which is supposedly what he's supposed to be fighting. The ulti is hands down better. A lot of things are just better about the kit, but because of how much damage he does a lot of sustained damage. The ulti, the biggest part of it is he gains a lot of health, and he could dive the tower because he ohm wreckers it, which they had to fucking find a way to put that stupid shit back in the game, but whatever. He's really good for team fights. He's really good for diving. He's basically just a champ that goes the fuck in, which I love. But old Volibear did a decent amount of damage. New Volibear kind of does. It just doesn't look like he should be doing as much as you expect. Or he's doing a lot less than you expect. You have this giant god lightning throwing Zeus bear, and he's tickling the enemy for 20 seconds straight. After 20 seconds he'll kill someone maybe. But it's it's so long. It's like a grueling fucking war with him. And his whole kit is designed, okay, you want to stall out, you want to heal through it, you don't do as much damage, but you stay in the fight long enough to basically wear the enemy down, and either you're dying or they're dying and they're not getting away. Maybe you'll run, but why should you? So, I think the one caveat to Volibear is just, you gotta build fucking Wit's End. You have to. It synergizes with his passive, it gives him on hit, it gives him MR. It gives him crazy amounts of healing, attack speed. It's so good. It's so fucking good, in my opinion. I haven't played with it, obviously, because I don't want to play PvE. I'm playing Warframe. But I think overall he's a lot better in terms of just helping his team potential. Not so much for himself. For himself, he's a little bit worse. But for the team and what he does in team fights and how much of an impact he has, he's better. I think he's better. He does less damage, but overall he's a lot better. Which is kind of similar to Fiddlesticks with the Mass Fear, but again, just their damage and their scaling didn't live up to the hype of what they look like and what they are, I believe. But for Volibear, it's okay because he's a fucking tank. Fiddlesticks is the surprise fuck you one-shot mage, and he sometimes does that, but not often enough, and it's very hard to do. Volibear, it's just mindless. You go in. I think a lot of people are going to be like, wow, I'm not doing as much damage as before, but you're living longer and you're doing more sustained damage and you're helping the team more. So overall, I actually really like this update. It's just a little underwhelming. Tad bit on the gameplay side. Visual side, like I said, lore-wise side, always great. Always good. Really good. And look at the fucking other one that we were just talking about. The fucking reject that is stupidly weak even after his rework. It's so bad. They obviously have to be buffing him. There's no way they're nerfing him. Passive effigy posing time increased. Okay, that's a nerf. Abilities cast when posing as effigy now terrify enemies. W minion damage increased. Holy fuck! So you don't need to you no longer need to be out of vision to actually fear people. If you pretend like you're the little ward, which you do after, stopping for 2 seconds, you can actually terrify people. That actually is such a good change, and it's really fucking good. It doesn't improve his damage in any way, but it helps him help the team more with his utility, aka the fear. This is an amazing change. Amazing change. Okay, the Q. Fiddlestick's ability is not terrify enemies if castable. He is put. Okay, yeah, they just added that there. Minion damage reduction. Okay, so his laning is a tad bit better, but not really. Okay, Fiddlestick's probably still ass. But the skilled Fiddlesticks players, the ballsy ones, will definitely make this work. Great change to Fiddle. Wish we'd see a little bit more damage, though. Gangplank. I hate Gangplank. Whenever I go top, I always ban this motherfucker. This motherfucker is the definition of a pussy champion. All you do is poke with your Q, get gold, never fight. If someone wants to fight you, you orange and laugh in their face, and then you just barrel, farm, and then if your team doesn't int, you kind of almost win the game late because you scale so hard. I fucking hate GP. He's such a pussy champion. So, I honestly don't know what they're doing because I think he's really strong. Even after all the nerfs. Before the nerfs, he was an animal. He was like one of the best champions, if not the best in the game at those times. I'm glad they nerfed him, and he's still like kind of decent. So what are they doing? They're giving him attack speed. Gangplank barrels no longer stack bonus sheen damage when chained. Oh. Interesting. Wait, what? Faster barrel combo shoot for a zeal item instead of other AD. Yeah, bullshit. He's gonna do that. Meaning more crits, more explosion, more scraps with the melee range. Yeah, okay. Notably, this will also sharpen his training force spike. What the fuck? Okay, this does kind of nothing. It's like 0.658 to 0.69. I mean, that's decent, but I don't know. It's like what? 0.4% almost? A little under 0.4? This is whatever. This is stupid. Gangplank is the same. Graves. I think Graves is super fucking weak. If not super weak, at least kind of decent, but on the weaker side. I barely see Graves anymore. Graves is not what he was, and I actually forget if he has the MR or AD on his E anymore, or the armor. I know he has the armor. I forgot if they gave him back the MR. I don't think they did. Once they give him back the MR, I think he'll be played a decent amount again, but I feel like he's definitely on the weaker side. I almost never see Graves anymore. Q first shot damage ratio reduced. Wow, they're nerfing him. They think he's like ridiculous. But in respect, I haven't played as much League, so maybe I'm not in tune. But they're kind of nerfing this like a decent amount. This is hurting his not really his early game, more of his mid to late game. But if you're not going ahead in the early game, then like, I mean, I guess they're doing it to scale his, or to nerf his scaling a bit, or his snowball. I don't know. I don't think he deserved this nerf. I mean, fuck it. I don't mind not seeing Graves. I actually hate Graves, but sometimes I like to play him, and he was kind of fun. But I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna question that one. That one's a questionable choice. Hecarim, like the other junglers, aka like Graves, all the traditional junglers are kind of weak, in my opinion. So I hope they get buffed. I hope Hecarim gets buffed. I barely see Hecarim anymore. The way the jungle goes, it's always in waves. It's always in waves of like, oh, who's meta, who's popular. And eventually Hecarim always comes back with the wave. So I want to see if that's what they're going to do here, or if they're going to, for some reason, nerf him. I can't imagine a nerf here, though. Okay. Despite us making him more menacing in 10.6, yeah, no one even fucking remembers that. I don't. Hecarim is still underwhelming at almost all levels of play. Damn. Giving him some extra clear power in the jungle and output for extended combat while making sure not to creep his minion clearing power too much. Interesting. So the base damage is going up by 5 early. Late game it's going up by an okay amount. A little bit of 13. Okay, that's fine. Minion damage reduction 33 to 40. So they're upping the damage, but they're reducing on minions. This is fine. He should just fucking stay in the jungle. He shouldn't go top. This is okay. I mean, is it crazy? No. But Riot doesn't like to do crazy anymore, which is kind of why I'm sad. I miss seeing crazy ass shit. But this is a whatever change. It's just stupid. Jenna. I think Jenna's a pretty good support. She's decent right now. She's not the best, obviously, but she never will be. Unless they retardedly overbuff her, but I doubt they'll ever do that. She's a pretty decent spot, though. If anything, I think we'll see. I could picture either buffs or nerfs, but if I was a betting man, I would have to say, with my eyes closed, chewing on a pretzel, or licking a pretzel right now, maybe I don't know. I'm gonna say buffs because I don't see her that often. Although we believe Battle Jenna is her best approach to lane, which is true, her harass is weathering her enemies a little too well. This always happens with Jenna. Trimming down this ferocious Tempest poke tad. How much? 195, 195. Okay, that's okay. I'm all in favor for like Jenna poking and being a little lane bully. It shouldn't be crazy though. It's like I believe the only person who should be like a big lane bully that's a caster support like Jenna is either Karma or Sona. Because they do not provide a lot of benefit to their team with their spells. They provide very little. For instance, Sona's heal, basically useless. Sona's move speed, decent. Ult, pretty good. Q, that's the main thing about Sona. That's why you play Sona in lane. For nothing else but the Q, and then afterwards she has an ulti and some things to help the team. Karma. The main thing you play her for is damage and kind of move speed and gauge. Her shields are decent, and then she has other stuff that's okay as well. But the main reason you play her is to poke the fuck out of the enemy and kind of shield and move speed for Karma. Sona, it's mainly just damage with some other things below that. Janna, why do you play Janna? Disengage, a pretty decent heal, a really good shield that gives a lot of AD, a lot of knockup, and then to have a lot of poke damage on top of that, it's too much, and I feel like it's stepping on other supports' toes. So I don't mind them nerfing this because I'm all for Janna maxing the E, but I don't want her lane presence to be non-existent aside from just CC, because then you'll just get fucking hammered. Because her cooldowns are kind of long for her CC, at least the Q. Unless it hits someone, I think, because then it gets reduction, but generally I don't mind her doing a bit of damage, but not crazy amounts. Not like fucking Soraka was doing. Soraka would run the lane, have great CC, and great healing. Soraka was like the fucking trifecta almost. But whatever. Okay, Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's still definitely weak. Definitely weak. The biggest thing that hurts Kai'Sa, she does really good damage. Her whole kit is pretty fucking decent, even after the nerfs. The main thing, in my opinion, is her range. Kai'Sa's range and just how close she has to get to do something. Yeah, she has tools to help her do that, but it's still very easy because she's an AD and because, how she is. It's very easy for her to die. So her biggest thing is her range. If they ever buff her range, she's going to be such a good AD again. Even after all the nerfs, if they make her range 550, she'll be really, really decent at that point. And I think, like, they don't need to buff her in any real significant way. They could just give her, like, slight AD shifts, like slight number shifts. But until then, they have to figure out something because Kai'Sa is one of their most popular champions. They love making fucking skins for her. I hope we get a legendary for her. And she's really fun and really good. In fact, she was very too good for a lot of times. But I'm assuming we're going to see buffs here going into what the changes are. Q bonus AD ratio increased. R range increased later. Wow. As a non-Zeal marksman. Oh, yeah, so she's not benefiting from half the AD changes that we'll get into and criticize. Who's already relatively weaker than the other marksmen. We felt Kai'Sa warranted some special attention. I believe that is true. Q damage ratio, 0.4. Okay, I mean, little candy, little sweet. And then range of killer instinct, 15, 22, 50, 3,000. Wow, that's actually a lot. That's really good. Like, sometimes as Kai'Sa, even late game, like, you're trying to ult into the fight because you're trying to stay very far back. And sometimes you need to walk up a little bit. I mean, is this like a crazy good change? No. Is this a good quality of life change and will it have some impact? Yeah, it will. I think it's really good. Move speed and just being able to get into a fight or two somewhere from a longer range almost instantly as Kai'Sa does is really fucking good. She's so good. This is really good. The Q change is not bad, but it's not groundbreaking. It's whatever. It doesn't really help her. I don't think this will really help her, but it's already good for Kai'Sa players. And we'll see how she's hit by the quote-unquote AD changes. We'll see those. All right, Lux. Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this. I saw this on Surrender 20, because I look at some stuff at Surrender 20, and I was fucking baffled. I was like, how the fuck are they doing this to Lux? Lux is so annoying. She's like... I fucking... Okay, there's people in this game I just hate. I hate Lee Sin, because everyone who plays Lee Sin is almost always fucking bad and sucks. And they do nothing. I hate Gangplank, because I mentioned it before. I hate Zillion, because he's another asshole. And I hate Lux, because she's not a support, and she's not that good mid. So it's like, she's a mix between a support and a mid laner, and they just always put her support, and it's so fucking annoying. She's such an obnoxious champion. I hate this bitch. But they're buffing her for some odd reason they want to see her played, and it's actually a really good fucking buff. But let's get into it. So the second part of the E basically has a slow duration increase. Before, it used to only slow for 0.25 seconds, which was good. Now it slows for an additional whole ass second. This thing was buffed by almost like... What was it buffed by? 0.25. 100% of that is 0.50. 150 is what? 75? 0.75? 175% they buffed this shit by. That is actually fucking crazy. Unless I'm stupid, I'm doing the math wrong, which could very well be like the case. But, yo, this is actually like insane out of how much they buffed it. And it's going to make her so much more annoying. Now, she can realistically use like the second part of the E to set up for the Q. It's so annoying. God. Our Ray of Sunshine has been struggling in both of her lanes in varying levels of game. All levels of play as a support and in high elo as a mid laner. With a longer slow, she'll hopefully feel more reliably powerful when casting out her combo and bring more utility. Yo, oh my god. I have a feeling that they're doing this because she has so many skins and she's one of their poster girls. Because it's like, you can't have the champions that represent your game be bad. Because then when people come on and try those champions that they got interested in and they're ass, people are going to be like, wow, this fucking blows. I don't like this in the beginning. So there's a reason for why, you know, she's always fucking trying to be pushed in to the meta. But God, I hate Lux so much. She's so fucking obnoxious. Like, and if I'm trying to play a game and win, I'm not playing Lux. I play Lux if I want to troll someone low-key, or if I just want to, like, turn my brain off and be stupid. But not necessarily because I want to win. If I want to win, I'm playing Vhagar, I'm playing Xerath, I'm playing Janna, Soraka. I'm playing someone who's good. This person's decent and annoying, but sometimes kind of good, actually. I won't take that away from her. But God, she's so annoying. I hate her. I don't like this change. Does she need it? Probably not. Are they giving it to her? Yes, and I'm questioning the reasons why. I don't think she's in that bad of a fucking spot, honestly. Okay, Syndra. Syndra, I feel, is still, like, weak. I barely see anyone play her. She used to be the terror of the mid lane. If you got Ard, well, I mean, anyone can kill the AD, but... Oh, thank you. Ohi. Thank you. Ooh, I got lettuce and pickles. Anyway, I feel like Syndra, getting back into the swing of things, is very weak compared to what she was and just compared to everything else. You have things like Zoe. You have things like, I can only think of really Zoe, off the top of my head, who brings so much to the team in terms of damage, CC, annoyingness, safety, bullshit. And then you have Syndra who, yeah, does a lot of damage. It's harder to pull off a little bit, but you have kind of a greater payoff, but it's not what it used to be. And again, you press R on the AD, most likely they'll die, but that's just AD at this point. I don't take how champions do against ADs anymore as if they're OP or not, because everyone can do that almost. It's just in general how I'm comparing them to other champions in the lane. And Syndra is very, very weird. I've seen her go bot a couple times, actually, and she actually fares pretty decently because she scales very well. And they have to be careful with how they buff her, because I do feel she's weak compared to what she was and what else is out there. But if you overbuff Syndra, she becomes a menace and a monster. It's insane how good she is, because she scales so well into the late game. But I'm generally for her getting some buffs. Not crazy ones, but some buffs. What are they doing? E cooldown increase. Syndra is one of the strongest performing mid laners at the moment. That's actually crazy. I gotta look this up. Champion.gg. I'm looking this shit up. Middle. Win rates, performance, ranking. Syndra is ranked 32 in the mid lane with a negative win percent. Okay, she's almost at the bottom. Syndra here in role position. Syndra. Okay, she's 4th in role position. So that's pretty okay. But Yasuo is above her for some reason, which kind of questions the validity of that. And then in, what's this? Current patch statistics, she is 10th. So she's decent. She's not the best, but she's decent. Okay, maybe I got it wrong. I'm just saying, to me, I miss Syndra being fucking kind of a terror. I don't want her to be like that, but I've experienced more scary things as an AD than her. Because she kind of needs to go up to you to do that. To, you know, one-shot you with R. Or she needs to get relatively close. But I'm actually surprised that they're... Well, let's see the nerf. What's the nerf? The cooldown is just going up by 2. Okay, this is nothing. It's whatever. Talon. What do I think of Talon? He's fucking weak too. Talon continues to be one of the most powerful mid laners in high elo. That's probably true. But in lower elo, he's weak because no one knows how to use him. But then the question comes in, what do you balance for? High elo or low elo? You have to do a mix of both. But let's keep going. I don't think Talon's that good. I just don't like non-scaling champions. But what are they doing? They're only touching his Q, which I believe is maxed. I don't even know if it's maxed 2nd anymore. It might be maxed 1st. But the mana's going up, which is fine. Heal on kill is going down. So they're nerfing his survivability, kind of, and how much he could spam. We're carving out some of his sustain so he can't stall out the early lane to reach his item spikes as trivially. There we go. I mean, didn't they have a statistic that the person who gets the most first bloods is Talon? Kind of weird how you'd want to stall. But whatever, I think this change kind of hurts him a little bit. It's definitely hurting him early by like, it's nerfed by half almost. But I feel like this is okay. If they do nothing else, Talon will be okay. Now, I've spent how long talking about nonsense? 32 fucking minutes. Okay. Now, let me talk about the big nonsense of this marksman change. Okay, let's read it. The marksman class has major durability problems. No fucking duh. Especially in the early laning phase, which I kind of agree with, where their power feels heavily reliant on their supports, which it kind of is. This has been the causing issue in gameplay satisfaction since a marksman's strength relies on the length of time they're alive. That's true. By increasing their mobility via items and base health, we feel that ADCs won't be punished so aggressively when they fail and will still have a chance to bounce back and unlock their power in fights. So what did I just get from this? I got that, as the stupid Spotify ad plays, I got that, oh, we know ADCs are going to get fucked, they're going to get punished, they're going to get raped, but hopefully they can come back after that and unlock their power in fights. That doesn't seem like they're solving the problem. They're trying to put a band-aid on the issue of, okay, if an AD falls behind, he just keeps getting one shot. And they're thinking, oh, if we do this, maybe they won't be one shot. Maybe they'll live a little longer or be a little harder to get, but die a little bit later or something. And it's like, I don't know, number one, if what you're thinking is happening is going to be changed. Or number two, even if that's the problem. But let's keep going. That being said, we've heard your concerns about the bot lane marksman champions that can solo lane like Lucian and Vayne. We're giving them a separate set of changes where you can find more details on below. We've also omitted Corki, Kindred, Quinn, Senna, and Graves due to having their primary play rate in other lanes. Where the fuck does Senna go? She doesn't go in any other lanes. Just say they're not ADs. Just say that. Graves isn't an AD. He's a jungler. Senna's a support AD hybrid, so you should include her. Kind of. Actually, no. She's different enough to where you can. Okay, as Senna, I'll give you a pass on. Quinn's a top laner. Let's be straight. Kindred's a jungler. Corki's a fucking mid laner. Come on. And we're with the understanding that Senna may be considered for similar changes in the coming patches. Okay, and they even added that. That's good. That was the only good part I've seen so far. So let me say what I think. What is the problem with ADCs? Here's my main issue, right? And maybe it has to do with squishiness, but then the problem becomes I don't feel Riot is solving the squishiness problem with what they're doing. Now, again, I can be completely fucking wrong. Usually I am. But this is what I think is going to happen. So, as an ADC, compared to every other lane in this game, right? You're the one lane whose power is shared between two people. So, you should be, together with the support, more powerful than one person. So, here's what I don't like. An ADC, let's say I'm 10-0 on an AD. Yeah, I'm pretty powerful. I can kill people. But I do get one shot. Do I believe it's a problem getting one shot? No. I'm an AD. I'm a glass cannon. And especially with the state of how supports are, the support, sometimes doesn't support you like they should, or maybe they're bad, or whatever. But my problem is, if I'm 10-0, right, and there's a character like fucking Maokai, Malphite, whatever, who, for all intents and purposes, is probably feeding their fucking brains out. 0-3 Maokai, 0-4 Malphite, or somewhere around there, maybe 1-3, 2-3, 0-3, around there. They can literally have their fucking way with me. And if the support is there, sometimes even with the support, I'm scared of the 0-3 Maokai. Me and the support might not be able to take him down. In most cases, if I'm 10-0, maybe. If I'm Vayne, probably. But there's always a chance I could get fucked. You give anyone else 10 kills, and they'll start running people like it's nothing. If anyone is even with me as an AD, I'm scared of them. If anyone's feeding, I might be a little bit more inclined to engage them, but I might get fucked. If anyone's fed, I'm fucked. ADs are so fucking weak and bad. They take too long to scale up unless they get fed, which at that point, what I just said comes to fruition, where if I'm ahead as an AD, I still don't feel like, oh, I'm doing really well. I could take on a lot of the problems, unless me and the support are really fucking good, or the enemy team is inting. If they're going even, or if other lanes are fed, I, as a 10-0 AD, cannot fight a 4-0 Katarina or an assassin, but then the argument becomes, okay, they're supposed to take you out. But in general, most often than not, I, as an AD, do not think I win out in most of these matchups, being so fed. Being fed on AD almost does nothing. Almost does nothing. So, their solution, which I sort of halfway agree, is to make ADs be able to live longer. What I would want is for them to get more damage. Now, what I would want is for them to get more damage, but that's not going to happen, because look at the changes to IE they did. ADs were getting online too early, in Riot's opinion, but they were glass cannons, so I kind of thought it was okay. Yeah, you do a lot of damage, and your whole goal is, hey, I'm going to nuke you before you nuke me. But it's really easy to nuke me, and it's not as easy for me to nuke you. That was how I felt ADs were. Now it's a little less because they nerfed IE, and now mages are going down there and everything. It's horrible. So, I don't feel like they're giving enough health to ADs to even make this matter, but let's see, because I actually haven't seen this too in depth. So, each champion's getting similar base stat boost in their health and health growth. So, Aphelios is getting 30 health, and he's getting an extra 2 health per level. So, I'll base it around Aphelios here, right? So, overall, Aphelios is getting 30 flat base health. So, he's getting 30 no matter what, and then, depending on levels, he gets plus 2. So, what does this change entail? 2 times 18. He's getting an extra 36 health. So instead of 86 times 18, which is 1,548, he's getting 88 times 18, which is 1,584. That means almost absolutely nothing. That's that's probably a minion attack. That's a minion attack, to put it in perspective. A minion might actually do more than that later in the game. That's an early game, probably, minion attack. That's the major change we're getting on Aphelios and what I'm assuming to be the other ADs. 30 health plus another 18. So 30 plus... What was 18 times 2 again? God damn, I forgot it. 36. They're giving us an extra 66 health, basically, on Aphelios. That's nothing. That's maybe 2 minion autos overall. That's their change. That's great. Really great. Ashe, she's gaining 30 around, and then she's going up by 3. Caitlyn, 80, 90, 100, 100. She's gaining 30, then she's going up by 2. Yeah. So ADs are going to have like almost 100 extra health, which is something. Don't get me wrong, it's something. It's a step in the right direction, for sure. But it doesn't really do anything. Realistically, it doesn't do anything. Look at this. They're doing it for everyone. Twitch. This isn't going to make them good. This doesn't make them... This does nothing. Solo laner changes. The following champs are getting more specific buffs to their ability to play rate in solo lanes. We think you have a general satisfaction in power palms like the rest of their marks and brethren, but acknowledge that they are more... okay, whatever. So, the second shot crit chance is going from 75 to 100. Fix the bug where Lightslinger's basic attack would not fire if the target became out of range. That's actually amazing. These bug fixes and this buff for Lucian is pretty good. So now the crit on the second shot is going to do probably half the damage, but a full crit of half. Not 75% of the half if it was a crit. But okay, that's so fucking weird, Sam. But this is a good change. It's a damage buff, and it's a bug fix, which I thought was actually a really big bug fix. Because sometimes this does end up happening when people flash away, and then you don't get the second auto off. That's really good. Decent buff change. So I'm assuming they're not giving them the 60 health, which again, they don't even fucking need to. It's not that big a deal. That's only going to matter late game too, because you're getting the 30 up front, and then the rest is scaling. So if you're level 18, you get the extra 30 something on top of the 30 you get at the beginning. That's nothing. Callista. The W costs no mana, wow, and then the max health, if both you and the support do it, is getting buffed. That's honestly the way I would do it too. This is like a really good change to Callista, because I don't know, I've never seen Callista go top or mid, unless people are trolling, and even then I haven't seen that type of trolling yet. But I'm assuming they would Oathsworn the jungler, and then just have the jungler camp them. But I feel like promoting Callista's synergy with someone being there and, you know, poking with them with the W is a really good way to buff her. Or at least encourage her to go bot. And then the W getting no mana cost is just quality of life, honestly. You didn't really run out of mana on Callista anyway with how the E is right now. I know sometimes they take away the mana reset on the E, but as it is right now, it's pretty fucking good. Vayne. The bonus damage on Q is going up by 10%, which is pretty fucking good. And then Tristana base attack speed is going slightly up. I mean, again, these are all decent changes, but this shouldn't be advertised as the wow, this is the big AD changes that our 200 years of game development minds have come up with. This is like something that should be done, this should have been done patches ago, and it's not hard to think. It's not hard to fucking think, oh, maybe we should give EDs a little bit more health. No fucking duh. And you gave them almost nothing and touted as like, wow, this is so great. This is a really big change we think will be really impactful. No, it's not. Shut up. So, Zeal. 5 to 7, 5 to 7. Okay, so every Zeal item is giving a little bit more move speed. This is pretty good. I think the biggest thing that hurt ADs, well, not the biggest thing, obviously, but one of the things that hurt ADs was Celerity. Celerity was really good on ADs, because health is important, yes. Mobility is also important, yes. I feel like the health they gave doesn't matter. I've said that over and over again. Mobility matters. Positioning as AD matters. And giving us, move speed to help us kite, to help us position, to help us run away. Move speed gives us a lot of power, on AD especially, who are auto attack reliant, who have to kite. 2% is good. This is a good change. Is it a great change? Is it touted as like, wow, it's gonna really help ADs with their problems? No. Is it great? Do I like that it's happening? Yes. Will it be very impactful? No. If this was with old Celerity, I'd be like, okay, this is really good. But new Celerity, it's still decent, but it's like, this basically just solves nothing. They're just giving us little boosts that barely help us. And I'm really sad, like, my role fucking sucks so much ass. I really am. I don't know what to do, and that's the worst part. I don't know how to solve it. Giving more damage seems like, to me, the obvious thing, because my idea of the AD is like, oh, the team has to protect them, and then they'll help win the team fight, and they kind of took that away from us with the IE nerf, a little bit, and then for what we do and how easy it is to kill us, it's not worth it. I don't know. Champion VFX, Cass got new VFX, okay. ARAM, cool, Earth, I don't care. Rainbow Fluffs, as I reminded of a Rainbow Fluff. Okay, cool. Nice. Bug fixes, I don't care. Upcoming skins, I said those. Chromas look really nice. Especially the astronaut one. And then, oh, yeah. Oh, here we go with this. Let me get into this. So, you know how Riot makes like a big deal about everything? Riot lies a lot, and I've noticed this. Riot is like a really good company, don't get me wrong, I like them. They're very talented, but... And they do this, I would say, better than other companies, but here's what happens, right? Riot says they're going to do something. And unlike with other companies, I feel... I can't really give any examples, but I don't know too many. But I feel like just with Riot, they say a lot of things. They do a lot of them, but they don't do a decent amount also. They say they're going to put a lot of things in. They say they promise one thing, they promise another. Sometimes they deliver, sometimes they don't. I remember for the longest time, they said when the new client comes out, or when something happens, when new rank season comes out, something, they were going to add an option to put fill but not support, basically. It was fill but not this role, which everyone was going to put as support, but fill but not support. They never put that in. They said they were going to fix the client. Never did that. They're in the process of doing it now because enough people keep complaining about it. And it's very crucial to the fucking game. But they're finally now addressing it and working slowly at it. Now, I know things have been impacted by Corona, so I'll give them a little bit of a pass there. But Riot says a lot of things, implements a decent amount, but forgets about other stuff, and a lot of people forget about it. And then it just gets lost in time, and Riot gets away scot-free. And then if Riot does mess something up, or they don't do something as well as they either advertised or were planning to do, they apologize, which is good. Which is good that they apologize, but it's like, I feel like it's a common trend with Riot. Riot promises something. They promise a new, better client. The new client is fucking ass and worse. It's so much worse. It's terrible. And then they apologize and say, we'll make it better. And then it's not better, how long after? And they apologize again, saying, no, we're serious, we'll make it better now. Apologies are good, but if they mean nothing and if they keep being said as a way to excuse the performance and not in sincerity and not seriously, it's like, what's the point? It's kind of just like a slap in the face at that point. You just keep saying sorry, but you keep making these mistakes. Where it's like, it's the same mistake. Just don't make unrealistic promises. But that's just one thing I'm getting pissed off at, because Riot touted like a lot of things is really, really big, right? Another example of things they promised. We at Riot want missions to mean something. We at Riot don't want missions to be, oh, get a certain number of kills, do this many times. No, they said themselves, they wanted more complex, diverse missions rather than the same old, play this champion, do this. And in their defense, they also said, oh, it's really hard designing missions later on, where it's like, oh, what's the balance between, okay, people spent money on a pass, and we're giving them missions to get extra, and we don't want them to be too hard, because then they'll feel like, wow, we paid for something we can't do, and they don't want it to be too easy, because, wow, why not just give it to us? So they're trying to find a middle ground, but they said they want to make challenges, not just get X amount of kills, get X amount of gold, kill this X amount of times. And what are all the missions? Let's look at the missions from this fucking event. Ready? Watch this. Play match-made games. They said they didn't like that, but they're doing it. Match made games. Deal 150 magic damage. Play a game as Ezreal. Earn 25 kills. Win a game. These challenges are so uninspired and lazy. Some of them are okay. Like 150 magic damage and Nerf. They're doing that to get people to play Nerf, or you could just play 5 games. The one thing I'll give them is, okay, you have challenges where you can just play games and get it. But the other part of the challenge where it's like, oh, play a game as Ezreal, how is this mission challenging me? Win a game or play 7 games. Play games. Play games, play games, play games. Don't do anything specifically except maybe play a champion, but just play games, and in general, you'll get these missions, right? Now, I got some of these missions because I only played Earth for the longest time, so as a team, killed 4 Rift Heralds. To get that mission, I only fucking played Earth, I'm pretty sure. Because I'm pretty sure in a regular game, if I played, we would have gotten at least 1 Herald in 12 games. But that's not even there. For this one, I almost got 5 games, deal 150 magic damage and Earth. These missions are terrible. Based on what Riot said they don't want to do with these events when they were first unveiling it, when they were first showing the events and, like, you know, saying, oh yeah, we want to do these the right way, we don't want it this way, we don't want it that way. It's the exact opposite of what they said. And what do they say? Sorry, we'll try and fix it. And they said that right before this event. They said that, I think, a little bit ago as well, a couple of events ago. Nothing's changed. They're the same missions. And again, I understand where they're coming from. It is very hard. I do have, you know, a little bit of experience in game development in my fucking college classes, my wiener college classes. But it's like, you motherfuckers, you making $1 billion, man. Come on. You can't think of anything more complex than play a game as Ezreal. Maybe play a game as Ezreal and get a certain amount of kills with the ult, or maybe hit a certain amount of Qs on enemy champions. And then the opposite could be like, you know, the other side of the challenge, play 10 games. So if people don't like Ezreal, or if people are bad at Ezreal, yeah, they won't get it. But I feel like the very good parts of the missions where you could get them quicker should be something where it requires skill or something interesting. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's what Riot does. They make a lot of mistakes. They sometimes promise things they don't deliver on, and then they apologize and then kind of do the same thing. But closing thoughts on this patch, I kind of gotta give, for right now, 2 ratings. Ignoring all of the AD laughable buffs that we're getting, the AD marksman champion durability problem changes, everything else is pretty decent. I would say, like, without the AD bullshit, it's, I would say, maybe 6.5 Marc Merrills out of 10. But considering all the AD changes, now don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, these are buffs. But I'm arguing, like, if this is their solution to ADC, which, you know, I kind of don't give Riot enough credit, maybe, most likely they'll be like, okay, yeah, the AD changes we put that we said would fix everything didn't work, so we're going to put more. They probably will do that. I hope they do that. But I just feel like ADs have been getting crapped on for way too long, and it's just like, come on. What are you doing, Riot? Come on. So, with all the AD changes, I mean, again, they're buffs, but I feel like this is like the bare minimum they should be giving us. They should give us a lot more. I'm rating this whole thing with the AD changes, all in all, 6 out of 10 Marc Merrills. I was going to go lower, but they are buffs at the end of the day. But yeah, 6 out of 10 Marc Merrills. Very depressing patch, in my opinion. We need something good. I feel like the only thing crazy we're going to get now is maybe in preseason or midseason. It's like midseason might shake things up a tad bit, which I don't even know if they do this anymore, but preseason is the biggest shakeup, and like even then, it's not that crazy like it used to be anymore. It's like, I feel like as time goes on, Riot gets more corporate, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there are bad things that come with it, man. I don't know. Fucking Riot used to like do a lot of things I liked to this game, and now I feel like they're being way too safe. They don't want to change a lot of things. They care too much about competitive. They don't know how to balance the game correctly for maximum fun. They're doing changes that don't matter, too little. it's like they're just so safe, and I don't like it. And it's good for business, but it slowly loses the retention of players, longtime players who are like sick of this shit. So that's my opinion. A lot of feelings got dredged up during this, and it kind of went everywhere. But I mean, I hope people enjoyed it and listened to my opinion. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed.